Do you used to study, your friend?
Study. It was not productive. Half the time it was talking, chit-chatting, gossiping.
It's always the idea that you'll play around a lot and then there's a lot of distraction. But I actually encourage my students to do it if they can find the right bunch of people to study with. I studied with friends that are brighter than I was, and I nearly topped the level. Choosing who you study with is quite important. I don't think it's something that we should just say it's bad per se. Having people point you in the right direction, your peers pointing in the right direction, I think that could be tremendously valuable. Naga, did you used to study with your friends when you were in school? Like, I guess secondary, JC and uni because primary school, that wasn't really a thing. Do you used to study with friends?
Yes. You see, study with friends.
Right, so no, I mean, okay, sure, fair. So what was that like?
Okay, so basically, we go out, we say, okay, we're going to study with friends, right? Study with friends. So we go to, at the time, McDonald's or somewhere, right? And then we sit down there, we plan for an hour of studying. Okay, example, chemistry test is coming. So we're going to sit down there and study for chemistry for an hour. For me, it will only be 15 minutes. First 15 minutes, maybe ending last 5 minutes. In between, we're talking anything else under the world, except chemistry, correct? So why? Because when I start off, I'll be like efficient. Okay, we have to do this, we have plan, we have to cover this, all this is going to be tested, all that. Then some topic will come in, which is, like what happened in school or what did this person do? And then we'll talk about that and we'll drone off totally. And then last 5 minutes, the guilt will come in. Oh no, we haven't finished. And then we try to do something. And then it's called a self affirmation. Okay, yeah, we have studied.
I think based on our conversation so far, it feels like you might have been the problem. Were you the problem or were your friends the problem?
I'm the one droning off. I'm like, everybody, and then I'll add on to the entertainment value of the conversation.
Right, so you are the one distracting everyone. I mean.
Yeah.
So your friends should not be studying with you, basically. So what kind of studying techniques work for you? Like, did you? So after that, you started studying more on your own? Was that what you did?
I like to study on my own. Because I think, of course, I'm a very easily distracted person. So I need the calmness of the atmosphere, people talking and all that. I don't like, I mean, I don't prefer that because I get easily distracted. So, and then I like to study at night where everything is down, you know what I mean? Like after 10 p.m., and nobody, even at home, and everybody is going to sleep and everything. So when everything shuts down, that's when I switch on. I call it.
I think for me, now, why this is something I always thought was really interesting is because I think the default perspective that a lot of parents have when you say, I'm going out to study with my friend, the image that they have is exactly what you described.
Yeah, exactly.
Every parent is worried that their kid is going to go and study with Teacher Naga, basically.
Oh, God.
Right? Because there's always the idea that you'll play around a lot and then there's a lot of distraction. But for me, my personal experience was a bit different. And so my take on this is generally more nuanced. I actually encourage my kids to do it, my students to do it, if they can find the right bunch of people to study with.
Exactly.
So, like for me, in JC, this was really memorable for JC because I was IP, right? Secondary school, we didn't really have to study. So JC, I studied with 3 of my friends. Very, very good memories. We used to go to Carl's Jr. There used to be one at Plaza Sing. I think that one's gone now. So we either go to that one or we go to the one at Marina Square because Carl's Jr. had free flow drinks all day.
Oh.
So we used to go there and then we occupy a table. We'll get there in the morning. And then we'll leave, I think, around dinner time.
Okay.
So that was positive for me on a few levels because number one, I think especially in my the earlier phases of getting into the groove of studying, because I told the story about how I failed a math test in Sec 3, 4, and then, I started, being a bit more serious about my studies. But there was still a lot of figuring out to do. I didn't really know how to study. So having 3 friends with me who were a bit more studious than I was really helpful. Just getting into the groove, see what people are doing. Oh, you guys are doing the 10-year series. I probably should do that too. I can ask for help. But I have to caveat, the part I was really, really lucky was these 3 friends, one ended up in medicine. Mm-hmm. One ended up in Cambridge doing math.
Okay.
One ended up in Imperial doing data science stuff. So I was lucky, right? I studied with friends that are brighter than I was. So they helped me with the sciences and math, right? Because I was better at economics. So I think choosing who you study with is quite important. I don't think it's something that we should just say it's bad per se. It has to be who are you studying with? Because I didn't study with my best friend back then. Because if I studied with him,
You didn't study with the Naga.
no, but yeah, fair. Yeah. My best friend was basically a Naga. Yeah, so I didn't study with him back then because I know it wasn't going to work. It's going to be bad for him and it's going to be bad for me, right? So I'm like, I stayed away from that, and then I studied my 3 friends. Still really, really, really close friends, but not like. I mean, very juvenile to say this, but like, I don't think anyone cares right now, but not by right the best friend, right? My 3 other friends that were close, but not the
There
best
was a purpose for this friendship.
I wouldn't put it like that. I wouldn't put it like that. But yeah, the one that if you want to say I was a bit more tactical was in uni. So I also talked about how previously I didn't go for lectures. Like basically when I got to year 3, my final year in uni, I think I went for there were some like modules that I took that I went for no lectures at all, 0. So when it came to exam season, I basically sat down with some of my friends who have gone for lectures, and I go, okay, tell me what are you revising? Like, what's the most important thing, right? And that helped me to focus fire and study for that few critical things. So this module, there was this module that was quite memorable that I did this for, was because I did that and I nearly topped the level. So I would say it's not just my credit, it's my friend's credit as well, because having people pointing in the right direction, your peers pointing in the right direction, I think that could be tremendously, valuable. So I wouldn't say studying with friends is bad. I'm like, be smart about it, right? Who do you study with and all that?
I mean, if you ask me, right, secondary, JC, right, I tried studying with friends. Of course, I'm not a good friend in a way. So, and I also realized it was not productive. Half the time it was talking and chit-chatting and gossiping and that kind of thing. So I realized, okay, this is not for me. So even if I go and study with friends and all that, I tried, but I did my own studying. That means my personal time. I sit down individually at home at night to study for my exams and all that. But when I went into uni, as you said, it's a different experience. So I had my attention span is short again, so I wasn't able to sit through whole lectures and all that. It was difficult. But my best friend, right, one of my best friends, he's really good at attention. That means he's really good at sitting down and writing notes. So, and then I will be very, very happy. I'm still very happy and proud to say that I actually got through uni because of him. His name is Sammy. He's very good. Because he's so opposite of me, and he's so focused, attention span, and he writes down all the notes very carefully. And he was literally my, I would call it, personal assistant. Because in uni it's all independent learning, right? So if you don't have friends who can actually focus and do what things to do when the deadline is and all that, you can get lost in the whole realm of things happening in the university. So probably that would have happened to me if I didn't have him by my side. So he was very focused, and I think that studying with him actually helped me do well in a lot of modules, as you said. So one of the modules I did better than him.
How did he feel about
that? Then he gave me that look like, how dare you? but the thing is that I didn't boast about it. I said, thank you. Yeah. So that's one of the ways. So as you said, very important. You can study with friends. First, you know what kind of learner you are. Okay, if you are the Naga kind of a learner, so then don't, or try. You have to do other individual learning by yourself. But if you are the kind who needs a friend to motivate, because I think I got students who tell us they study better when there's a person doing. So when my friend was studying, so focused and all that, I get motivated by him, even though I'm distracted. After some time, okay, I will also, why are you studying so seriously? They say, got tests coming, must study, right? So then I'll get motivated. So that's one of the things. Sometimes also you have to choose friends who are better at that subject. See, that's why when you mentioned, right, there's a purpose for the friendship. It might sound bad, it might sound evil, it might sound selfish, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get motivated by the friends who you study with, because these people are very focused. Like my friend was very focused and is very into details, which actually I don't have. That's what I'm a very big picture person. So it really doesn't help me when I don't have the details. So I need somebody who can tell me the details in between, pepper it for me, so that, okay, I have to look at all this. Then compliment. He was a detailed person, so I complimented whatever he needed, the big picture. the overarching understanding and all that, then I will tell him. So I think complementary characteristics or personalities in terms when it comes to learning really helps. So very good. You can study with friends. Just don't choose too many Nagas around you.
I think the benign view, right? I think the benign view of what you said about friends with a purpose. The benign view is that, you know, how schools and the system likes to sell the idea of project work. And I actually believe in the philosophy of project work. I think project work is good. Even the A-level one that everyone hates, right? I think the philosophy behind that's good. Doing projects, you know, before A-levels in school is also good. And why is it supposed to be good? Because it teaches you interpersonal skills.
Of course, yeah.
So my argument is actually when you study with friends, if you can assemble your own study group or be part of a study group with people that are better than you, who are a good example for you, I think that's developing your interpersonal skills as well, right? It needs maturity, it needs communication skills, it needs you to, because honestly, if you're a leech, right, you're just going there to leech on the group.
Of course.
They're not going to ask you out the next time around,
right?
You have to be a likable person, you need to bring value to the table. So I would say, you know, even for you, if you were entertaining, but not to the point of distracting, that's adding value, you know, to the equation. So even like 15-year-old distracted Naga could find a very good study group if you wanted it, I guess, on some level. Like if you went to seek it out, you might actually have found one, and you know, you would have had a better experience. You have a more positive view on how effective study groups are, and not, you know, wait until uni to discover that.
Yeah. I mean, I of course, I didn't realize how I could do it effectively. I was the point of distraction. So sorry to all the friends who study with me, and half the time I was distracting. But actually, if you
I think we're going to get a lot of hateful comments on this video. Yeah, be careful.
All from my friends.
Yeah, all the old people come and settle scores.
Yes, I remember this, Naga. So anyway, so basically, but I also brought value, right? If you ask me, I mean, when I was maybe JC and uni, when I was studying with friends and all that, there'll be moments where there'll be stress. Yeah, I mean, people are very stressed and all that. So, and then I crack a joke or whatever, distract a bit. But I think at that age, we are more, we are still focused. We will come back to task. There will be one or two people in the group. So you have to choose your group members wisely. There are people who can bring you back to task again. Like my friend, very good. I will joke and all that. They say, okay, enough, done already. Let's go back.
You're talking about Sammy? Or?
Sammy. He's very good. In terms, he does that every time. So I will joke and I will talk about something else. Will happen in lecture, would happen yesterday and all that. Then you say, okay, fine. I think, we are done. And then we come back to studying. So because I chose him as my study partner, it really helped me because he helped me be focused or come back to task. Whereas I help him de-stress because he's quite a stressed up person in a way. You know, he's very tensed and all that, especially when there's going to be assessments and all that. So we complement each other. So choosing your group, very important. But I think maybe at the secondary age, teenage, you might not. You might choose that the best friend to be your study partner, people you like, but not necessarily the person you like or the best friend would be a very good study partner. I think that's what we're trying to drive at.
One thing I was really, really thankful for was my three friends whom I studied with in JC. We were actually really good friends first. We were Sec 3, in the same class. So at that point, we were already friends for like 3 years, and we were really good friends. And so that made it easy. I got really, really lucky. Like from the bottom of my heart, like I'm really, really grateful for like my Sec 3 friends because they were all more studious than me. They all did remarkably well. I mean, I told you about this three, but there was this other guy that, went to another top US university, one guy that went to the UK with me. So I was really, really, really fortunate, right? But I have to add, because you talk about this whole entertainment and distress thing, and I want to say that while we were really productive and we spent a good 8 hours at Carl's Jr., we didn't study every single hour. We actually brought our laptops and we played some games, or we bring board games. And so normally we will play during lunch. So while we are eating, right? So we get there, it's like breakfast. We might just get a drink and then we study 3 hours. Then during lunch, we'll play. Sometimes get a bit carried away, play 2 hours, but then back to studying. And I think that creating that community for yourself is quite important because, as I always tell my students, I say when I was preparing for A-levels, I still played games. I mean, we had this conversation about gaming. I've always been a gamer since I was a student, even on the precipice of exam season. So it's always been a big part of like my test routine. And my routine was always 9 hours of studying, right? And then games at night because you need that balance. You can't be studying all the time. So I want to say that you don't have to feel like you have to study with people who only study.
Of course, yeah.
They scream at you, if you are distracting them. I mean, that's not very pleasant. You wouldn't want to study with them anyway. So I think striking that balance is important because out of the three of them, right, the guy that went to Cambridge, so he was in the UK with me, right, for 3 years, but different cities, right?
Yeah.
But this guy came down every exam season because the way it worked was once exam term started, we had no classes. So it's like you basically have a 3 or 4 week break until exam. So this guy will always come down, stay with me for 2 to 3 weeks during exam season to revise. So we'll go to the library at 8 a.m. and we play Football Manager until 1 p.m.
Okay.
before we start studying, right? So, I mean, we made it work because at the end of the day, when crunch time came, we were like, okay, stop joking around, okay, because we started early, right? Like we had 3-4 weeks, so we messed around a bit, and then after that. So I just want to say, construct your friend group to go and study. I don't think it's something that's bad. Don't throw the baby out the bath water, but you need to bring some maturity to it, which is, am I hanging out with, is this just a pretext to hang out with my friends?
Yeah.
Or are we really going to get some things done? So I think finding like-minded people that has that balance between, I want to do well, but let's take the edge off, let's have some fun. I think that's really, really, really important.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Choosing the correct people to form the study group, very important. I mean, studying with friends might not be just people who you like play soccer with. You know what I mean? It's totally different. That's a common interest thing. This one, the common interest is to get focused and get the task done, which is study for the test. So if you can get people who understand you, like example, Sammy no need to have chosen me, to be his study partner, but he knew that I bring in the value of the de-stressing part, where I can let him okay, I think chill. Now let's go and have a meal or let's have a drink, which he wouldn't do if he's studying alone. He would just study for 3 hours. So I complimented him. So complementary personality is very important when it comes to study. So choose your friends wisely when it comes to forming study groups and understand each other in terms of who is the less attention span person, who is the person who's very focused. If you understand all this, I think your study group will be very effective.
I think choosing friends wisely, or more broadly, choosing people wisely is just a very, very, very good philosophy to live your life.
Yeah, of course.